President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever.
I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job.
And they hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out.
President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election.
In the next few minutes, you're going to see exactly how Arnold Schwarzenegger turned Trump into a political punching bag. We've got the juiciest quotes, the most savage burns, and even a sword-wielding moment you won't believe. Stick around to find out why Arnold thinks Trump is a failed leader, how he compared the Capitol riot to Nazi Germany, and the personal story that's got everyone talking. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Have you ever thought about the time when Donald Trump and Arnold Schwarzenegger were the best of friends? The days of those days are over, just like the natural color of Donald Trump's hair. It is difficult to imagine Arnold making jokes about Trump's infamous hairstyle while he was attending the Republican National Convention in 2004. There is a good chance that Trump is fuming beneath that golden mop, but at the same time, everyone is laughing, so it must be all in good fun, right?
And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
There is a sudden shift in Arnold's singing style when we fast forward to the year 2016. His declaration that he is unable to vote for Trump is so loud that it is almost as if you can hear the record scratching. As far as the land of muscles and spray tans is concerned, it would appear that there is discord. However, for the simple reason that he is Trump, Trump does not take this lying down. He is proficient in Twitter, and he does not shy away from utilizing his skills.
The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. Patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president.
The first thing he does is tweet about Arnold's ratings on Celebrity Apprentice, rather than, learning how the government works or managing the nation.
He sought a coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies. They're complicit with those who carried the flag of self-righteous insurrection into the Capitol.
Ever bet against Trump again. And I want to just pray for Arnold, if we can, for those ratings.
President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election.
After all, that is something that presidents ought to be concerned about. It is more important to consider whether or not people are watching celebrities from the D-list trying to sell lemonade than it is to concentrate on the economy or on foreign policy. Our boy Arnold, on the other hand, is not going to give Trump the final say in this matter. The response he gives is that he tells Trump to stop worrying about some pointless television program and instead focus on leading the nation ablaze. It is similar to that when you watch two bodybuilders argue about which of them uses a more effective spray tan technique. During the course of Trump's presidency, Arnold's criticism of him becomes increasingly louder. The way he is holding a megaphone gives the impression that he is channeling his inner Terminator. I'll be back with more sick burns. While he is speaking, his distinctive accent is so strong that it is almost audible. At the end of Trump's term in office, their friendship will be more on the verge of extinction than his chances of being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Within the context of this classic Hollywood breakup story, angry tweets and viral videos are used in place of paparazzi photographs. Nevertheless, people, this breakup was just the beginning of things. Now, let me tell you something. Watching Arnold go all Terminator on Trump is a lot more entertaining than watching him try to close an umbrella.
Now, I grew up in the ruins of a country that suffered the loss of its democracy. Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States. The broken glass was in the windows of the United States Capitol. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. But what are we to make of those elected officials who have enabled his lies and his treachery?
Who could have predicted that the individual who had previously portrayed a killer robot from the future would turn out to be one of the most ardent supporters of democracy? Do you remember the time when Arnold was simply displaying his muscles on the big screen? Do you remember that? It just so happens that he has also been spitting out some rather serious political nonsense. At the time that the Capitol riot broke out, it appeared as though someone had exchanged Arnie's protein shake for a can of whoop ass. According to our preferred Austrian oak, it was time to put an end to there were some lies that had been told. Just picture this. Arnold, who is most likely wearing his I'll be back pajamas, announces the release of a video that is more powerful than a punch from a predator. His approach to Trump is reminiscent of that of a kindergarten cop, but he is instructing a president rather than children. No longer does Arnold Schwarzenegger engage in idle chatter. He compares the riot at the Capitol to the Kristallnacht that occurred in Nazi Germany. Even Mr. Universe is going to have a hard time with this.
It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys. They did not just break down the doors of the building that housed the American democracy, they trampled the very principles. But the mob did not just shatter the windows of the Capitol, they shattered the ideals we took for granted.
However, there is more to it. A story is told by Arnold about his father, who was a member of the Nazi Party. To put it simply, he is essentially saying, "You fools, pay attention. Already I've seen this terrible movie, and the sequel is even worse than the original." On the other hand, a video featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't be complete without adding some props, would it? As a result, he draws his sword in the manner that is typical of Conan, for the simple reason that, if I'm not mistaken, there is nothing that says I'm defending democracy more than brandishing a massive piece of overcompensation. After that, the moment that truly signifies "hasta la vista, baby" arrives. Arnold describes Trump as the worst president ever and a failed leader. He also calls Trump a failed leader. How awful! That must be even more excruciating than having your hand crushed by a Terminator right now. After casting a glance in Trump's direction, it appears that he exclaimed, "You're fired!" I apologize. That catchphrase is incorrect. After that, Arnold continued his speech. When he made his statement, he became very serious and thoughtful, and he declared, "I know where lies lead, and I'm not going to let that happen again." His biceps are stronger than those of Socrates, but he is a good-looking action hero nevertheless. When it came to going viral, the video went viral even faster than Trump's spray tan during the rainstorm. It had spread throughout the entire area, and it had most likely even made its way into the restrooms at Mar-a-Lago. It was being shared among the attendees, much like the last slice of pizza at a fraternity party. People, it would appear that the Terminator has not yet completed his quest to eliminate Trump. It would appear that this political dispute will be more entertaining than a major motion picture released during the summer. A significant amount of tweets have been sent out by Trump, and Arnold has been demonstrating his political expertise. The most upsetting aspect is that there are individuals who are predicting even more outrageous outcomes for the upcoming confrontation that they will be having. Just picture this. Attempting to demonstrate his strength against the Austrian oak, Trump decides to lift Conan's sword in an effort to compete with him. Imagine the challenges that the orange one would face if they were to use that heavy prop. One could compare it to a child attempting to get their hands on Thor's hammer. The comedy is a veritable treasure trove. With all due respect, however, the fact that Trump's team and Schwarzenegger are constantly exchanging messages with one another demonstrates that neither side is willing to give up easily. There is a threat to democracy, and the situation is comparable to an endless political arm wrestling match. Let's all get our popcorn ready, shall we? The upcoming episode might be the most ridiculous one to date, but this show is not even close to being finished.